crappie anglers. Today we're going to teach you how we fish brush piles, and we're going to be going to Lake Lavon today. It's May 19th, and we're going to fish probably anywhere from 12 to 18 feet deep. We're gonna find some brush piles and fish for crappie. So my helper here, Molly, and me are going to fish together, and I'm going to show you the two techniques or approaches you can take to fish in brush piles. We have our simulated brush pile down below us here, and want to start first by talking about tackle. My favorite way to fish for crappie is jigging rather than using minnows, and it's a little more challenging and more enjoyable for me. So what I like to use is an 8-foot Pro Angler rod and an 1/8 ounce jig, 10-pound test with a black and chartreuse jig on it. Now my favorite jig to use is this black and chartreuse Rocky Top. I also have a 1/8 ounce sickle hook, number 2 sickle hook on this. They're very sharp, and this is my favorite setup here for Lake Lavon. Typically I don't get too hung up on color. I like to use either black and chartreuse or white and chartreuse. If a crappie sees it, they're pretty much going to strike it. So you got both contrasts there. You got white and you got black. You can use anything in between if you want, if they're biting it, but typically that's what I start with. And because I have experience on Lake Lavon, black and chartreuse typically works very well. That's what I start with. The same technique I've had success on Lake Ray Roberts, Richland Chambers, and Lake of the Pines. Okay, so that's what I like to use for artificial. For live bait, I like to use a minnow with basically a half a Captain Coleman rig. And what that is only one hook instead of two. I take a swivel, run 10-pound fluorocarbon through a weight anywhere from an 1/8 ounce to a 1/4 ounce, maybe even 3/8 ounce, depending on how deep I'm fishing. And then about 6-8 inches from that I run a number 2 hook. I like to use a true turn hook. You can find them most anywhere. And a number 2 is what works. I've also used sickle hooks. And now we'll basically talk about our approach. When I make the live bait rigs, I make a lot of extra ones. If my assistant will hand me the little noodle there, I'd appreciate it. And I tie them up before fishing, and I put a whole bunch of them on this noodle. And if my helper accidentally drops it in the water, it's okay, it floats. Okay.
I never drop in the waters.
You never drop them in the water?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. All right. So over here is where my partner fishes, and over here up front is where I fish. This is our simulated brush pile here, and this is the technique we're going to use today. So what I like to do is I like to be off of my brush. From here I control the boat, and I'll take my live bait rigs. I'll put a minnow on each one, okay, and probably have a little bit of line out, some slack. So I put my minnow on, and then I stick it in my Be Ready rod holder here, and I do the same with the other one, and put a minnow on. Now once I got my minnows in the water and I'm ready to go, now this technique works well with having a lot of baits. Like if I want to fish with 4 rods with live bait, I can do that. And now I'm close to my brush. I'm going to throw my buoy out. I'm not going to be right on top of my brush. I'm going to, for today, let these baits down reasonably close to the bottom. I'm going to drop them all the way to the bottom, then I'm going to reel up 2 cranks. And you can see, you probably want to do this before you fish to let you know how much 2 cranks gives you. You go 1, 2. Well, that brought it up about 2 or 3 feet off the bottom.
Daddy?
Okay, so now you know you're fishing 2 or 3 feet off the bottom. Yes?
You know, you almost hit a tree.
I almost hit a tree?
Yeah, you almost hit me too. Almost.
Okay, well I'm sorry. I'll try to be more careful. Alright, so what we do, like I said, drop the rig to the bottom, reel up 1 or 2 cranks, and then I set this in the rod holder. And once I've done that, I get my jig pole, and I start to approach the brush pile. Now, as I'm approaching the brush pile, these will only be elevated off the ground, so I'm not going to hang directly in my brush. As I approach the brush is usually when I get a strike, and you'll see that in the video. For jig fishing, what I like to do, and I'm going to pretend I'm already about 12 feet down. If I'm fishing more than 12 feet, This is an 8-foot rod. I'll hold my rod up over my head, and when the jig touches the water, that's about 12 feet deep. I'll usually start with that, okay? But for this simulation, I'm going to reel this up. Pretend I'm starting from 3 feet. You can see I'm above the brush pile. Now, crappie, typically a school of crappie, the biggest fish, the dominant fish, will be on top of the brush pile. So I don't like to drop my jig down to the bottom, reel up, and then catch the small fish on the bottom and reel them up through all the brush and the fish, and risk hanging up and scattering the school. So I start my approach from the top down. Okay, so here to here I let down 2 feet. Now you can see I'm right at the top of the brush. And I don't like to do the funky chicken. I've taken a lot of people out fishing, and they like to move their jig around like this, just wild and crazy and left and right and bumping. Just hold the rod steady. Wait about 2 or 3 seconds. You can count 1, 2, and then just tap it gently down and up, bump, like that, bump. And when the crappie hits it, you don't want to sit there and go, oh wow, I'm getting a bite. When a crappie strikes a jig, it's an inhale, and when he inhales that bait, you'll feel a thump. The way I like to simulate that with people is I'll say, give me your arm, and they're like, what are you doing? Hold their arm out and just tap it like that. That's what you'll feel on the end of your rod. Sometimes it's a lot stronger than others. Set the hook immediately, and you should have your fish. So I'll let it down. Okay, let's just pretend this brush pile that we're going to be fishing is in about 16, 17 foot of water. So I'm down 14 feet, bump. I didn't get a bite, so I'm going to let out 2 more feet of line. Okay, let out 2 more feet of line, down, up, 1 time, bump, set the hook, catch your fish. Once you've caught 2 or 3 fish in the same depth, you got your pattern pretty much for the day. So, depending on the depth of the structure you're fishing, you might be fishing 20 feet deep. Fish might be holding a little closer to it. That's okay. You can figure that out using this technique when you get there. Okay? Now, when you're fishing the brush, if you get hung up in your brush, okay, what you don't want to do is, you can try to tap it out. If it's a jig, you can try to I'm having a hard time getting hung. It seems like this is easier to happen on the lake than it is than it is here. But once you get hung up in the brush, what you don't want to do is just grab that rod and just start yanking it really hard. You can pop it 1 or 2 times. If it doesn't come out, let some line out, get it in your hand, and pull like this and try to pop it out. Now a lot of times it comes out. These sickle hooks are flexible, so they'll bend. You got to just bend it back when you're done, or it might break off. But you'd rather lose a 30-cent jig than a $30 rod. Now, if you get hung up with this type of rig, and here's one of the advantages to having this weight so far away from the hook. A lot of people hang these up and they'll break them off, but I recover more than 90% of them. What you want to do if you get this hung up, the rod's tight and people are doing this, they're trying to get it out. Let total slack in the line, you'll see that weight drops below where it's hung up. Then pull up. Then let the weight drop below it again, and it'll work its way out most of the time. Okay? Now, if you got hung and you were drifting back, go forward in the other direction and then try to wiggle your bait out.
Daddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Daddy, the wind's blowing.
The wind's blowing. What do we do when the wind's blowing?
I don't know.
Do we use the trolling motor?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you stand up for me and face the camera? Now, are we going to have a good time fishing?
Yeah.
Are you going to use your fishing pole?
Yeah.
Which one is yours? This one? That mine? Okay. And where do you put it after you get the minnow down? I mean, where do you put it? Do you put it in the rod holder? There you go. How do you do that? Good job. And what do you do when the fish bites? Set the hook and reel it in, right? All right. You ready to do some fishing? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll see you on the lake. How you doing back there, Molly? And I got my jig that we talked about.
I'm just gonna lay down for a minute.
Okay. 8-foot pole, I'm 8 foot deep. I'm gonna go about to 12 to start with. There we go. We're 19 foot of water. I'm gonna move up. Brush is in about 17. Okay, Miles. Sure will. There's my buoy right there for a reference. And there's the brush. Molly, got a fish. Want to catch him? Looks like a good one. Reel him in. Swing him to me. Wow, good job. That looks like a keeper.
Did he swing me?
Yeah. Good job, Molly. Get another bite, Miles. Got him.
Okay.
Want to catch him?
Yeah, can you catch him for me?
Catch him for you? I got him. It's a little fish. We're going to throw him back. Okay. There we go. Baby crappie. Let's go see if we can get mama. Got one minnow down. Drop to the bottom. Reel up. 1, 2. Move back over the brush. Oh, got a fish on this jig just sitting in the rod holder. Oh, he's in. Means I had him at the right depth.
Okay, put him in this.
Alright, got another bite here, Miles. Whoop, missed him. Can I have that? He's 10 inches, Miles. Put him in the cooler?
Yeah. I can't open it though.
There you can, now you can. Whoa, as soon as I got down there. He's in. You get me to measuring? He thumped it really hard as soon as I got it to the right depth. Looks like the magic depth is around 15, 16 feet.
Looks like a baby.
Looks like a baby, huh? Oh, he's 10 inches. Do you want to keep him or let him go?
Keep him.
You want to keep him? Okay, open the cooler.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, on the bottom, tight. 1, 2. Put it in the holder. Check the bait on this guy. Get back over my brush. This one has a minnow. I'm gonna let it right down. We're very close to the brush. From that buoy, brush is about right here, so we're real close. Should start showing up on our fish finder here in just a minute. We know that there are fish nearby, so they might bite. Even being close to it. Okay, get my jig back down to the depth I want, which right now we're looking at about 14, 15, 16, and there we go. I move back in on the spot. Well, that wind is strong today. We're in a little protected area, so we should do all right. Hey, we got a bite on this pole. And there he is. Molly, you want to catch a fish? I'll catch it for you, yes. And there it is. That's a good one. This one. Yeah, looks like it. Hey, oh, I got another bite here. There he is. Oh, he got off. Okay, Mom, can I have that? This one's probably about 11. Yep. Open. Open, please. Cooler. We've only been here 10 or 15 minutes. We got 4 fish. There he is. Whoop! We let that one go. He wasn't hooked very good.
I can't control the
Getting a bite here, Miles. Let's set the hook when he gets it. Oh, there he goes. Got him. Reel him. Reel him, reel him, reel him. Good job. Good one, Miles. That's a good fish. Let's pull him in. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep that one.
Yeah. That looks like a keeper to me. Getting one over here. There he is.
I can roll it for you.
Thank you, Molly. I think I got him. Maybe too small. Want to measure? Get. Okay. I think this one's too small. Yep. Bite. Fish.
6. You got 7?
Another fish.
Here. Is 7 a big one? Is 7 big enough?
Whoop, getting another bite. Missed him. It's too slow. Yep. It's big enough. Good fish. Small one. Yep.
Now it's time to go bye-bye.
We're going to throw this one back.
No,
He's small.
I don't care. Now let's go home.
Molly. Got a fish. You reel him in.
Okay.
Go. You get him. Hold the pole correctly. You got him.
Oh.
Is he big? Wow, he looks big. Get him, get him, get him, get him. Looks like a keeper.